So welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at some excerpts from a document titled Von Bunduk Done to figure out why, our brains seem permanently stuck on high alert.
Yeah, which is a feeling I think everyone is pretty familiar with right now.
Right. And our mission here is really to show you that chronic free-floating anxiety isn't like a personal failure at all. It's actually a highly sophisticated survival mechanism that is just, well, it's catastrophically misreading the modern world.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, we really have to start with the amygdala. That's basically your brain's smoke detector. And since you're listening to this, you likely already know it governs the fight or flight response.
Yeah, just flooding your system with cortisol.
Right, flooding your system before your prefrontal cortex can even, parse the situation.
Yeah.
But Joseph LeDoux's research over at NYU reveals why this happens so relentlessly now. The threshold for triggering that alarm has effectively just vanished.
So instead of that classic and honestly kind of tired saber-toothed tiger analogy, it's more like an over-engineered email spam filter. Like at first, it catches the actual malware.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
But then, it gets hypersensitized and starts sending your boss's emails, your tax returns, your dinner plans straight to the junk folder. It treats literally everything as a critical threat. I mean, if our modern predators are just unread emails or stock market dips, how is the physical body still gearing up for a literal fistfight?
Because the biological hardware simply hasn't updated to know the difference. The amygdala cannot differentiate between a physical threat to your life and, say, a social threat to your ego. I mean, the physiological cascade is identical.
Oh, wow. So it's the exact same reaction.
Exactly. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense, all because the brain is preparing you to physically outrun a plummeting stock portfolio.
Okay, well, that explains the initial panic spike, sure. But it doesn't really explain that chronic background hum of anxiety when you're just sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing.
Right, well, that chronic hum actually originates from an entirely different system. It's called the default mode network, or DMN.
The DMN, okay.
Yeah, so when you aren't focused on an external task, this web of brain regions activates. And in cases of generalized anxiety disorder, the DMN is overly active and poorly regulated. Without an external problem to solve, it just manufactures internal ones.
Wait, so it's furiously mining your past for regrets or like simulating catastrophic future scenarios?
Exactly that. It just loops.
Man, it's like closing all your apps, but the operating system secretly launches this massive, power-draining background update that absolutely ruins the battery. I mean, how often do you catch your own brain catastrophizing while you're just waiting in line for coffee?
Oh, all the time. And the modern environment actively weaponizes that idle state too. So Dr. Stephen Porges' Polyvagal Theory introduces this concept of neuroception. Yeah, it's the nervous system's subconscious scanning for cues of safety or danger. Things like high-density urban living, constant noise, relentless social competition, they literally block the specific acoustic and visual safety cues our biology actually requires to shift into a rest and digest state.
So we're basically starved for safety cues.
Right. And we compensate by leaning hard into safety-seeking behaviors.
Okay, I'm going to have to push back here because if my nervous system is overwhelmed at a loud party, pulling out my phone to avoid small talk or just leaving the room entirely, logically that does calm me down. Like I feel better.
Just in the short term, it absolutely does.
So why would the brain interpret retreating as a threat rather than a successful escape?
Well, it's because of what happens the moment after that temporary relief. By fleeing the awkward conversation, you actually deny your brain the crucial opportunity to realize the conversation wasn't lethal.
Oh, I see. So you reinforce the neuroceptive error.
Exactly. The brain logs the withdrawal as, I survived because I escaped.
Yeah.
You aren't avoiding a chat. You are validating the fear. You're permanently coding normal social friction as a biological danger, which just locks you right into a self-sustaining cycle.
Wow. That makes a lot of terrifying sense. So what's the big takeaway from all the sources today?
The crucial takeaway is that anxiety is the biological tax we pay for a brain designed for survival, not happiness. I mean, these feelings are biological signals, misinterpreting the environment. They aren't objective truths.
Right.
And because the system is biological, we can actually retrain those neuroceptive pathways through cognitive strategies and exposure, basically teaching the alarm system what a real emergency actually looks like.
Which leaves us with a pretty intense question to mull over. If our current environment of smartphones and, constant digital connectivity is already this profoundly mismatched with our ancient biology, how will our nervous systems interpret the impending shift toward fully immersive virtual realities?
Yeah, that is a huge unknown.
Right. Because if a passive text-based email triggers a physiological fight or flight response today, what happens to that broken alarm system when the digital threat actually feels physically real tomorrow?